That's the magic of editing.
It is. I'm here with David M Briggs, poet, and what else?
Gosh, I do write some fiction. I write some fan fiction, honestly, too. I'm also an editor and a graphic designer. I'm a bookseller. I am the director of outreach for Springfield Poets and Writers. I was nominated for Best Poet of Lacrosse in 2018. I was nominated for the Mayor's Award for the Arts in Written Literature here in Springfield in 2024. And maybe by the next time that rolls around, I'll actually deserve the nomination.
Oh, I'm sure you deserved it. And that is an impressive resume, honestly. So I know I'm very familiar with your poetry. I have had the pleasure of being in attendance to several events where you've got to read it. What do you think is your biggest inspiration for your poetry?
I think my biggest inspiration, as Billy Collins says, is that the trouble with poetry is that it inspires to write into more poetry. So the more poetry I read, or the more anything I read, but especially the more poetry I read, the more that I want to write. And so being able to be at these events where there's lots of authors and poets reading that I get to see, that's really energizing. I love to go to a bookshop that has a clearance section and just grab $1 poetry books. Nothing I know, read it. And if I hate it, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I learn what not to do. And if I love it, that could change my life.
Yeah, I definitely agree. People should read not only stuff that they love reading, but take a chance on things you might not love. And once in a while, read something you know you don't like.
Absolutely.
Just for the experience of it and to learn something new.
There is nothing you can read that won't help your writing. There's nothing you can read that won't expand your mind in some way. Either it'll tell you what you don't like, or it'll tell you what you do. Or you may read something that sucks, but find something compelling in it. Branching out it's really the most important thing.
Yeah.
You have to read a lot if you can, experience a lot, and it will change you.
Absolutely agree. So how long have you been writing poetry? And throughout that journey, how do you feel that your style has evolved?
Absolutely. Well, I wrote poetry a little bit as a kid. I had a poem published in 5th grade in my church's newsletter. But my brother, actually, he's 3 years older than me. And so when he was a junior in high school, I was an 8th grader. And he took a class that year of creative writing, and they had an assignment to write a play. And he wrote this play. It was called The Samurai Incident. And I read it, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever read in my life. And instantly, my next thought was, I can do better. I have to do better. And so I said, I was like, 2004, going to high school. I'm a new me. I am going to teach myself to write. I bought myself a little green composition book, and I wrote a whole bunch. In 2005, in 2004 also, I started a live journal where I started posting my poetry as I was publishing it. And most of my friends didn't care for poetry, but I'm like, whatever, I'm still putting it on there. And 2005, I get published in my school's newspaper and my school's literary magazine. And from then on, I have been writing and getting published for every year since.
Amazing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's quite a few pieces of work. And I have seen how many books you have currently at the show, so it is impressive.
Technically, it's only 3 books. It's just I got a lot of little books that make up the first 2.
Well, it's still impressive.
Thank you.
Now, you said you have also done some fiction writing.
Absolutely.
Do you have any of that available for people to read?
Yes, absolutely. My chapbook archive, the D. Michael Warren stories, has 4 short stories in it. It's also at the beginning of Halberd Books Volume 2. And I've had, each of those pieces had been published somewhere before. I rewrote them all. They had all been published under a pen name, D. Michael Warren, because I wasn't ready for my family to find them. But I'm owning them now. In the meantime, also, I write fan fiction, and if you want to know where to find that, you can message me privately.
Fair enough. And how would you, the fiction that you have written, how would you characterize it as far as a genre or tropes, if that's how you describe them?
Honestly, for the most part, when I'm writing fiction, I'm also writing poetry without line breaks, perhaps. But it's all realistic fiction, those short stories. They are all written from the first person perspective, all addressed to a you, much like a lot of my poetry is. And 2 of them have dialogue, and 2 of them don't. But it's very much meant to be, in that vein at least, realistic fiction. May not necessarily be everyone's cup of tea, but I feel pretty good about them. And then when it comes to the fan fiction, I will explore any number of styles that I can. I love writing noir. I love writing, I've been working in the style of H.P. Lovecraft, which is troubling because as much I love writing dialogue, and Lovecraft was notoriously dialogue light. And when he did write dialogue, it was just the worst possible dialogue you could ever read in your life. So learning to write without using dialogue is a tricky thing. So, but I enjoy the challenge of that.
Good. Yeah. Challenges are always great. And it really helps you grow to challenge yourself.
Very much so.
And so now, whenever I get a chance to talk to a self-published author, I like to ask them technical questions as well. So what software do you prefer initially for drafting and then for formatting to publish?
For drafting, I will use LibreOffice or Google Docs. I have been meaning to get into some of the better alternatives to Google Docs. I have forgotten what they are right now, but I generally just use a standard word processor. Sometimes I'll even use the Notepad application just because I don't need to be worrying about formatting. I don't need to be worrying about how it looks on the page. I just need to get the words down. For editing, I will edit in LibreOffice, and for a longer collection, I'll use LibreOffice for the full typesetting, that sort of thing. For shorter collections, when I can, I love to use Scribus, which is not a very easy program to use, but it is absolutely free. And I'll do graphic design in Scribus, or I'll do it in Glimpse, which is a fork of GIMP. And I'm starting to sort of use Photoshop as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also kind of basic. I just use Google Docs.
Absolutely.
But I have Atticus for the formatting because there's no way I'm going to go through and try to format in Word or something like that. That's too technical for me. Absolutely.
And to be honest, a lot of the formatting that I do, if I've written it in something else, first I'll copy it into Notepad so that I can make sure at least I have the line breaks where I want them and the indentations where I want them. Because pressing tab to indent sometimes makes it look very poor. So it's easy to see where the words will line up that way. And that lets me do the basic stuff first. And then I'll copy that into whatever program I'm using to do the actual finessing.
Nice. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Where can we find your work?
All right. Well, I have a website, and it's davidmbriggs.com. But also you can find me at just about any platform at Halberd Books. So if you go on Facebook, search Halberd Books, HALBERDBOOKS. If you go on YouTube, Halberd Books. If you go on Twitter or Blue Sky or Tumblr or TikTok or Instagram, Halberd Books.
All right, wonderful. One last question before I say, do you have any upcoming events where people can hear you or purchase your books in person?
Absolutely. As the director of outreach for Springfield Poets and Writers, there's always events going on. We have our monthly open mic the first Wednesday of every month at Historic Edwards Place. But right now I'm putting on the final touches to the Rainbow Joy celebration, which will be a celebration based on the anthology I edited, the Book of Rainbow Joy. That is going to be held at the UIS campus on October 26th. And before that, I'm doing Paint My Poetry on October 5th. That, I believe, is at the Lincoln Library. There's lots of things. I post about them all the time. And if you want to come to a little bit more central of a place, my wife and I will be at Peoria Book Fest in November.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's a big event.
It's a huge event. When I saw that they were looking for vendors, I'm like, we have to get in on this.
Yeah.
We'll have just a 10-foot by 2-foot space, but we will make it work.
I bet you will.
Thank you.
I have every confidence in you. And
Thank you so
congratulations on not only having the Peoria event coming up, but everything you've been able to accomplish so far. It's been wonderful watching your journey.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bye.
We wish you were doing anything as long as you're nice about it. I'm the Director of Outreach for Springfield Poets and Writers. Here. And I am the creator of Halberd Books, which is literally just me self-publishing my own work. But it is now officially a part of Poochie LLC with Poochie Mark, my beautiful wife there. She has brought some adorable magnetic bookmarks for sale too that I highly recommend. If you haven't checked them out yet, you ought to. They are pretty great. What I have brought today I brought a number of chapbooks, which are short collections of poetry, and then I brought the volumes that collect those chapbooks. Halberd Books Volume 1 and Halberd Books Volume 2 all are poems that were just in those short chapbooks. Halberd Books Volume 3 is all just original stuff, and there's also the Book of Rainbow Joy, which was an anthology that I edited. So I am going to read a number of things from just about everything I've got here. First, let's see, from the Book of Rainbow Joy. I am the light. I am the waters above the dome, and the waters below the dome. I am the man and the woman cast out for their cravings, and I am the seed sown from their love and their lust. I am a cell. I am a splinter. I am a shapeshifter. I sing the rage of Achilles and the grief of Gilgamesh. I sing of metamorphoses and the romance of round tables. You may find me in Kojiki, in the journey to the west, in the eldest of the Eddas in the Drash Mahabharata. I am David the psalmist. I am Sappho the 10th muse. I am Shakespeare alive forever in rhyme. I, Walt Whitman, contradiction barbaric. I, Langston Hughes, bathed in ancient rivers. I, Mary Oliver, in the family of things. I am Taliesin, the poet immortal, and I am every single face in this crowd. Yes, I am you, and yes, you are me, and from the sea of our souls we cry out with one voice for freedom, for dignity, for kindness, for justice. We are the lovers, the healers, the fighters, and our cry echoes on from the legends on down that we are here, that we have always been here. And when the last scrap of hatred has been blown away, we remain, we persist, and we live, and we love, and we sing, and we sing, and we sing forth forever.
Oh.
So Shannon's poem about not being a poet, which is insane to me because, of course, Shannon is a poet. By writing a poem, that's how you become a poet, my friends. You become a writer by writing, you become a poet by writing poetry. There is no other metric by which that matters. And I suppose this is something I wish I could go back and tell myself. In spring of 2012, I had published a poem in the Catalyst Creative Journal at my University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. And everything that I published in the Catalyst, I put together in this chapbook, Chain Reactions. And this is in Halberd Books Volume 1, but not all of it, because not all of these poems are very good. But this poem, I think, is one of the ones that didn't make it in, but I think it's an important thing for everyone who knows me to hear that I wrote 13 years ago. It's called I Am Not a Very Good Poet. I am not a very good poet. I don't always compare things to other things. I don't frequently use the same letters to start words. I don't make social commentaries behind hidden layers of subtext. I never want to write a sonnet. I don't like iambic pentameter. I don't use words like air or. I don't write iconic one-liners about the end of the world. I'm not good enough to be romantic. I don't understand the mechanics of modernism. I don't want to be considered postmodern. I don't have the skills to break out of any categories. I will never be T.S. Eliot. I don't write like Edgar Allan Poe. I don't have the soul of Langston Hughes. I don't sound nearly as natural as Billy Collins. I write poems about writing poems. I don't write about the ills of society. I don't describe boundless, unrequited love. I don't know a darn thing about the motives of the gods of the Greek pantheon. But honestly, as long as one person in the world reads my poems and thinks that they're all right, and as long as my poems inspire at least one person to write their own poems and to enjoy writing and reading poetry, then I think I did my job. And maybe, just maybe, I am not that bad of a poet. I have since gone on to do just about all of those things. Recently, actually, Leanne Keeley, who sadly is not here, told me that I inspired her to get back into writing poetry, and that's just one of the nicest things anyone's ever told me. I'm going to do some more recent ones. This one's a favorite of some. This is called Bread is the Human Condition. And it's in Halbert Books Volume 1, in case you want. I cannot even conceive of how you might come up with the idea. I mean, I sure wasn't there, but hey, you crush up grains and get them wet, and maybe you make them rise or don't, but then you put them over heat, and you've got rolls and dumplings and tortillas and cakes and toast, but you've got bread. And everybody makes bread, and bread is the human condition, and bread is art. But you can't make bread without knowing how to cook, and it's been pretty much shown that no other animal cooks, and no other animal has harnessed fire to enhance the flavor of food, or to render previously inedible substances nutritious, or to combine something into something completely new, and that's cooking. And everybody cooks, and cooking is the human condition, and cooking is art. But you can't cook without combining things or harnessing fire, and you don't do either of these things if you don't fuck around and find out. And in the process of fucking around and finding out, well, these days we call that science, and science is really just the description of the universe as we perceive it to be, and that's science, and everybody does science. And science is the human condition, and science is art. But I mean, you can't have science if you don't try new things. If you don't say to yourself, hey, the old way of thinking could be wrong. Maybe I've got this new idea, let me try it out, and maybe it's right, but more often than not, it's wrong. And you're wrong, and you fall flat on the bones in your ass, and you realize that things are not what you thought they were, and that's failure. And everybody fails. And failure is the human condition. And failure is art. Anyway, I tried this new sourdough recipe. I kind of fucked it up the first few times I tried it out, but I think I finally figured out what I had to do, and I'm really proud of this one. Please let me know what you think when you eat the first piece, because I value your thoughts. And because I trust you. I'm like, what is art if not trust? Halbert Books Volume 2 begins with the only fiction chapbook I have, which is archived D. Michael Warren stories. But because I'm me, I had to write a poem for it anyway. This is called Introduction. Oscar Wilde begins his picture, a book I haven't finished rereading, with a poem wherein he lays out his philosophy on the nature and apotheosis of beauty and art, a viewpoint that the book itself almost thoroughly condemns and destroys. So here's mine. We are an archive of stories. The stories we tell ourselves, the stories we tell each other, the stories we dream, the stories we love, and the stories that never happen. I never had the courage to risk my family finding and confronting me and asking me to explain what really happened to inspire these stories. This book would not exist if I were not already an accomplished liar. And then the last one I'm going to do is Inhabit Books Volume 3. And I got it published in this year's Wisconsin Poets Calendar. I also have a poem published in next year's Wisconsin Poets Calendar. So if you want to go a little bit north of the border and get yourself Wisconsin Poets Calendar, I believe those are still available at some Wisconsin bookstores. This is called Inner Tubes. I lean back and I bask in the radiant heat of the midsummer sun and your sweltering self, stretched strong and sensual, swept along the two of us by Mississippi's tributary and sweet mulled intoxication, and my relentless, half-requited, all-encompassed adoration. Thank you so much.